welcome back to our podcast. I'm the gentleman, accompanied by the disturbed Southern Belle.
Hello.
And in this episode, we will be continuing our series on the most disturbing media and continuing with movies. So the first one is one of the most nonsensical things I have ever seen, I have ever read.
It's out there.
I've ever experienced.
Kind of like a fever dream.
It's Eraserhead.
Yep. The old cult classic.
Yeah. So this American surrealist body horror film was made and released in 1977, as all great things were.
Sure.
In the late 1900s.
Hmm.
So this film opens with the face of Henry Spencer superimposed over a planet in space. He opens his mouth and a sperm-like creature emerges. A man inside the planet moves a set of levers and the creature swims away. It then moves to an industrial area and Henry is walking home, carrying groceries. He reaches his apartment and is stopped by a girl from across the hall. She tells him that his girlfriend Mary has invited him to dinner with her family. He enters his apartment to put away his groceries, and you see that his apartment is filled with piles of dirt and dead plants.
As you get, normal stuff.
That is pretty standard.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we have some dead plants around here.
Possibly. I have no clue, to be honest. Sure.
Later that night, Henry goes to Mary's home and makes awkward small talk with her mother. Later, at the dinner table, he is asked to carve a Cornish game hen. However, the bird moves and writhes on the plate and gushes blood when it's cut.
Appetizing.
So after the group finishes dinner, Henry is then cornered by Mary's mother, who tries to kiss him.
Normal as well.
She then tells him that Mary has given birth to his child and that he and Mary must now get married because apparently he hasn't heard a word of this before.
That's what happens, I guess. I guess they're not too close if he didn't even see that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyways, the news has an odd effect on Henry and it causes him to get a nosebleed for some reason.
Well,
Mary, however, is not sure what she has given birth to and isn't sure if it's actually a child or not. The couple later move into Henry's apartment and begin to care for the baby. The baby is shown as swaddled bundle with a fairly inhuman face that resembles the sperm creature from the beginning. The baby refuses all food that it is offered and cries constantly and intolerably. The sound eventually drives Mary to become hysterical, which leads her to abandon both Henry and the child. Henry then attempts to care for the baby, however he discovers that the baby is struggling to breathe and it also has developed painful sores on its skin. Henry then begins to have visions where he sees the man and the planet and the lady who inhabits the radiator who stomps on some of the sperm creatures because that's a thing now.
Yeah, gotta have a lady living in the radiator.
Anyways, he later has a sexual encounter with the girl that lives across the hall, and this leads him to have another vision in which the lady in the radiator sings the song In Heaven. His head then pops off his body while he is fidgeting and is then replaced by the crying head of the baby.
That makes perfect sense.
Henry's head then falls from the sky and lands on the street, breaking open. A boy then finds the head and takes it to a pencil factory so that it can be turned into erasers. Henry then awakens and heads across the hall to seek out the girl, however he finds her with another man. This crushes Henry and he returns to his apartment. Upon returning, he takes a pair of scissors and begins to cut away the swaddling around the baby. It's then shown that the child has no skin, and the swaddling was what held the child's organs in place.
Oh, gosh.
The internal organs then spill free after he cuts the swaddling away. This causes the child to begin to gush with a thick liquid that then covers it. Later, the power in the room then begins to flicker. While the lights flicker, the baby then starts to grow to huge proportions, and just as the lights completely burn out, the child's head is replaced by the planet from the beginning. Henry then appears in a billowing cloud of eraser shavings. The side of the planet then bursts apart, and the man inside begins to struggle with the levers, which are emitting sparks. Henry is then embraced by the lady in the radiator.
Yes.
You see what I mean by nonsensical?
It is. It's out there.
Nothing makes sense.
I have literally watched it, and it is. It's like a freaking fever dream, and I guess it's supposed to be a lot of symbolism or something, but it doesn't do a very good...
Symbolizing what?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't get it. It wasn't my thing, but a lot of people like it, and if you do, go for it. But it's out there. way out there.
This sounds like something you'd see at one of those indie film festivals.
Yeah, I could see that. Just what have I even watched? Is this even a movie? It's just a bunch of random crap thrown together that you're supposed to understand, I guess, but whatever.
Or maybe we're just
Sure.
uncultured.
Maybe.
Maybe that's why we don't get it.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that has got to be it, because it definitely sounds like it would be something that anyone else could possibly understand fully, I'm sure.
Anyways, that's
Eraserhead.
Eraserhead.
In
It's
a
certainly
nutshell.
something.
Yeah, it's something.
It's certainly one of the movies of all time.
Yeah, we'll say that.
So, moving on to something less weird, still messed up. Clockwork Orange. This was a film released in 1971. Again, as all great things were,
Mm-hmm.
the late 90s. This film is based on the 1962 novel by Anthony Burgess. I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name. Thinking Burgess.
I think so, something like that.
Anyways,
Burgess. Anyway.
in a futuristic Britain, Alex DeLarge is the leader of a gang of droogs, as they're called.
Mm.
The members include men named Georgie, Dim, and Pete. The group engages in an intoxicated evening of ultra-violence, which include beating a homeless man and fighting with a rival gang. They then beat a writer named Frank Alexander to the point of crippling him.
Mm-hmm.
Alex then sexually assaults Frank's wife while singing in the Rain.
Mm.
The next day, Alex's probation officer, P.R. Deltoid, cautions him, and Alex's gang have decided that petty crime is no longer good enough and they want to become involved in high-yield thefts.
Oh, yes, that makes sense.
This causes Alex to assert his authority by attacking them, because, yes.
Yep.
Later, Alex breaks into the home of a wealthy woman, who he then bludgeons with a phallic sculpture while his gang just waits outside. The group then hears sirens, and Alex attempts to flee. However, Dim smashes him in the face with a bottle and leaves him behind to be arrested.
Right.
He is then sentenced to 14 years in prison. 2 years into his sentence, he accepts an offer to be a test subject for a new Ludovico Technique, which is an experimental aversion therapy that is supposed to rehabilitate criminals within 2 weeks. He is then strapped to a chair with his eyes clamped open and is injected with drugs. He is then forced to watch clips of sex and violence, some of which are accompanied by the music of Beethoven. Alex becomes nauseated and begs for the treatment to end. Alex is later shown to be unable to fight against a man that taunts him and attacks him, and he becomes ill when shown a topless woman. Alex is then declared to be rehabilitated, and the prison chaplain argues that Alex has been robbed of his free will. However, he is dismissed. I don't know what he means.
Nah.
How could this possibly be robbing someone of their free will? It's not like it's brainwashing or anything.
Basically, it's sort of what it is. And I mean, a lot of people, they probably at the very least saw the scene that he just talked about where he's strapped to that chair and his eyes are like in those metal things and held open where you can't close your eyes and all these different
I mean, hell, to be honest, that's just an iconic scene. That's been reused so many times.
At the very least,
for so many things.
You're right. People have probably at least seen something similar to that, or seen that scene itself on something, because it is very iconic.
So he is then released from prison, and he discovers that all of his belongings have been sold to provide compensation for his victims. His parents have also rented out his room, and later a homeless man and a group of his friends who Alex had attacked years ago now attacks Alex. Alex is then rescued by 2 policemen and is shocked to discover that they are Dim and Georgie. The pair then beat him and nearly drown him before abandoning him. Alex then makes it to a nearby house and collapses on the doorstep. Alex later awakens and finds that he is in the home of Mr. Alexander, who is now confined to a wheelchair. Alexander doesn't recognize Alex from his earlier attack, but knows of him from the newspaper and its story about him undergoing the Ludovico treatment.
Right.
He then decides that he will present Alex to a group of his colleagues as a political weapon. Later, Alex is bathing, and Alexander overhears him singing in the Rain, and Alexander realizes that Alex is the one that assaulted him and his wife.
Right.
He then drugs Alex and locks him in the bathroom. He then begins to play Beethoven loudly from the floor below, and Alex is unable to withstand this and attempts to take his own life by jumping from the window of the bedroom. He later awakens and is in the hospital with multiple injuries. While there, he undergoes psychological tests and finds that he no longer has aversions to sex and violence. The Minister of the Interior then arrives at the hospital and apologizes to Alex and tells him that the government has had Mr. Alexander institutionalized. He then offers to take care of Alex and to get him a job in return for his cooperation with his election campaign, because of course.
Yep.
Alex then contemplates violence and having sex with a woman in front of an approving audience while thinking, I was cured, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Now you got to think, that aversion therapy stuff worked for an really extended period of time here too, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, basically, it was just like immediately after he was averted away from it for just a really short amount of time, and then just went right back to himself.
And probably worse because of what he had experienced.
Possibly.
The fact that it was basically torture
Right.
probably made him hate people more.
Could have. Or could have broke something inside him more. I mean, I don't know. You got to think somebody like that's a bit of a psycho or sociopath to a point anyway, to be out doing the things that he was doing so nonchalantly, just not caring. And,
Either way, it's just an awful situation all the way
is.
around for everyone involved.
It's crazy. It's bad. It kind of makes you kind of wonder about, some of these therapies. I guess to a point you think, well, these people did this, they deserve what happens. But then again, if you're doing something horrible to somebody else, is it better?
It's the whole two wrongs don't make a right thing.
In some situations. Now, it depends on the extent of the crime. I mean, I get a lot of
Now,
things.
I'd say he's done some pretty bad stuff. He deserved the torture. But the problem with that is that he was just released and pretty much allowed to continue.
They didn't really do any real testing to see how cured he even was per se, other than just a few little random things. And then they're like, yeah, you're good to go. Let's rock you on outside and see what happens.
Yep.
And I guess technically he didn't do anything while he was out, but my guess is it's just a matter of time.
Oh, yeah. Especially since the effects have pretty much completely come undone.
Right. So, yeah.
I mean, he probably hates Beethoven now, but
other than that, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing they seem to have accomplished that was not taken away.
Pretty much the only permanent effect they had on him.
It seemed that way, more or less. Now, granted, that might even go away. I don't know. But anyway, whatever. We hope you enjoyed that segment. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And don't forget to stay disturbed.